Good afternoon, everyone. David Paul speaking. It's 10 past 3 here in the UK on the 2nd of July, Thursday the 2nd of July. This was Non-Farm Payroll Day because tomorrow is the 4th of July and the US is on holiday. And the numbers came out much better than expected, as you probably see from the green on the chart. The numbers are pretty dismal, but American unemployment fell to 11%. I think they were expecting 13, so dismal numbers but better than expected, and that's caused, as you can probably see, the Dow to push up by 430 points and the S&P up 45 points. The primary wave on VectorVest is up. The underlying trend is up. We have a confirmed up. The DEW is up. So all the market timing systems on VectorVest is up, and the pointer in the green saying VectorVest advocates buying safe undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. Let's have a look at the chart itself, and that's the VectorVest composite, folks, of the USA. It's been on a buy signal for us since the 6th of April. And as I've said to you many times before, there was quite a few dodgy days. Nevertheless, the signal has remained up. It's been a great signal. And the DEW provides a wonderful entry into markets, especially from a major bottom where the market is in a mega oversold situation. So that was a great buy signal. That was a great sell signal. And we've now got a strong break, a little gap as well, out of this little triangle on the upside. And I think, folks, that this can move much higher, and whether you believe in Fibonacci or not, lots of people do, and what the Fibonacci people will be doing will be using a Fibonacci extension to work out where the darn thing is going to go to. So if I click on that high and go down to that low as accurately as I can, I think that's pretty much it. And I just give us a little bit more screen space. And a little bit more maybe. The first target would be at 78% of that range, and then clearly the old high is the next target, and then 1.27 of that range and 1.618 of that range. Now typically it will move to 1.618 of that pullback, and that'll be quite a decent move, and that's pretty much the same as the measured move from the triangle. If I were to draw in the triangle, old-fashioned technical analysts would have said that if the triangle breaks like so, that this little bit will be repeated, and that will take it up to somewhere up around here. So that could be quite a nice move over the next few days, the next few weeks. We just have to watch it and see. The color guard on VectorVest will tell us exactly what to do. But today it's saying buying safe undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. I bought, since I think the last time I've been speaking to you, I bought a couple of shares in the US and a couple of shares in the UK. I'm still holding Lulu, Fortinet. I bought a little Square. Microsoft I've held for a long time. Dollar General I'm holding. TTD's just been the most magnificent stock, folks. It's up another $21 today. I bought it at 300 and it's gone to 450 in this move. Just wonderful. AMD, the only stock I'm underwater in, and I'm a little up on the GDX. The AMD, if I have a look at it, is holding this level of support. And we shall see how it goes. I bought into it. In fact, the last time it actually held that level of support. So that's the only share that I'm slightly underwater in. And I was hoping for this big break based on this cup and what I thought was a handle. Time will tell. As I've told you many times before, as long as this DEW stays positive, then I'm going to be, in fact, holding on to positions and adding some new positions. I quite like Square. It's a share that's done really well for me in the past. So all is good, and the trend is mature, but it's going and it's got legs. So in the UK, pretty much the same thing, folks, and the UK well up today. This is Wednesday night's close, and in the UK, primary wave is up, the underlying trend is up again. All measures of the market are up, and if we have a look at the similar chart for the UK, there was the buy signal 1 day after America, and pushing up, and we've made actually a double top, whereas the Americans couldn't. So I hope we're going to get through that level today. If we get through that level, we could apply a similar measuring, a Fibonacci extension, and mystically, for those of you that like the fib sequence, it's not everybody's cup of tea, I know, but if you take from the high of the year to the low of the year, there's a 78% retracement of that above the market, and lo and behold, that's exactly the same level as the 1.618 extension of this pullback. Folks, if I went a little bit fast at VectorVest, I do weekly Q&A sessions, and if you take a 30-day trial to VectorVest, you'll be invited to those where I go into this in much more detail. But nevertheless, I think that that 420 level on the VectorVest composite, which would be a nice move, a similar move to what I suggested could easily happen in the US, and already today I see that one of our holdings, Games Workshop, is well up and pushing towards £85. So if I have a look at some of the shares that I'm holding here, that's the watch list, and I think you've seen these from me many times before. Games Workshop, I think somebody emailed me a while back, it was trading at 84. They're as happy as can be. Lion Trust has pushed off a double bottom, so let's just quickly chart these and have a quick gander. So there we go. That's Games Workshop, and these shares were chosen largely because of high relative strength way back in April. If you remember, in the first week of April, things weren't quite as were quite a lot of angst in the air. I go back to there and put on our DEW signal. That was the DEW signal, and this share was bought into at less than £50, and it's gone to 84, and I'm hoping it can push much higher. So that looking good. Lion Trust, folks, has come off, and those of you that know my work will know that this is what I call a spring. This looks very good indeed for a further push. If my crystal ball reading of where both the UK and the US markets should go, breaking out of this little triangle, then we can push above £15 in Lion Trust. Avon Rubber, it also, somebody emailed me, had a very good day today. They got rid of their sort of agricultural division that makes sort of milking machines and rubbers for milking machines. They sold that to Laval, and got a good price for it as well. So that's broken here, as you can see, a little triangle broken out of that triangle. This is a great share, folks. This is a great share. JD, again, a little spring setting up here. I would expect that to be much higher today. So let's hope that can keep going. And BHM Macro, I bought into it just here, folks, based on that bull flag. And it took its time before it broke, but it has broken. It's going the right way. That's good. Diploma hasn't shot the lights out, but we're up. So we must be thankful for that. Now, this is one share that I have bought, and this came out of my uni search called that I've presented many times, certainly at the VectorVest Q&A sessions. It's my DEW FT350 Swingers, and it's an aggressive search. It doesn't look for safety and predictability of earnings. It looks at a mixture of growth rate and long-term trend. This is Avast, the cybersecurity people, and I bought into it largely because I really like this pattern, and it's on a buy recommendation. It's growing earnings very strongly indeed, and it produced this textbook cup and handle pattern, and as you can see, based on that trend line, it actually came back and kissed the trend line, which I always like, and it's pushing up today around the 550 level. We should see how it goes, but if I'm correct in this, then and the general market keeps going, as you all know, the general market is, at least I think it's 75% of the exercise, that this could be repeated, and that would be a £2.50 move that would take that share up to the guts at £8, and that would be very nice. So Halma, one of the shares that's actually broken new highs, making rising bottoms, going into a little triangle here, push out of that little triangle. Let me draw it for you. This is a great share, folks. Probably a share that should be locked away and never looked at for the next 20 years. This is just a great share. That's Howden Joinery. A laggard, no doubt, and all of the, I got emails the other day about builders. That's the only builder that I'm holding at the moment, and there is a line in the sand somewhere down around here. It's the only share that I've got that's on a hold recommendation. And that's Cranswick. Did what it's always done. It's come back, kissed, and now pushing back up again. It reported a few days ago. Looks fine to me. That's the GB Group, folks. GB Group hasn't again shot the lights out, but an exceptionally safe business. If we have a look at this over 5 years, take off the DEW, you can see, put up the earnings per share. It's got a history of strongly growing earnings over the period, linearly, without a great deal of volatility. It came back to this confluence of this long-term trend line and a 78% retracement, and I really like the business. It is in cybersecurity again, and I think that this is a share with a huge amount of long-term potential. So that's what I've been doing, folks, since I've last spoken to you. I've taken a position in Avast. It's an aggressive trade. Please do your own due diligence on VectorVest. It's got a low relative safety. The share hasn't been listed that long, and I bought it primarily because I like the look of that technical setup. So it may not be for everybody. It's a share that's going to need a little bit of scrutiny, because the low relative safety shares drop the ball much more often than high relative safety shares, so they need to be risk needs to be managed much more proactively. If we go back to the front page of VectorVest US, we can see that the Dow's given back a little bit, the S&P's given back a little bit, but I don't think you could really expect much more, and I would expect with a reasonable wind that these markets can move higher over the next 3 to 5 days. Let's see. This will tell us exactly what to do, folks. So just heed the color guard, as Dr. Toledo says. I look forward to seeing all the VectorVest customers next Monday afternoon at our Q&A session. Anybody listening that would like an invite to the Q&A session, then just drop me an email. Trader Davy, it's Trader, Trader Davy at gmail.com, and I'll give you an invitation, a one-off invitation. 30-day trial of VectorVest is a £5. It's the best £5 you've ever spent. Have a great weekend, folks. Cheers now.